That's bullshit. All right. That's bullshit.
That's bullshit.
That's bullshit. All right, everybody. Well, let's talk about this warning screen that's up here real quick. Warning, the views and comments expressed in this episode by the host and or guest in no way reflect the sponsor's direct opinions or their beliefs. This is entertainment and education with zero tolerance on hate speech. This is also not financial advice. All investments should be researched by you before you make them. I'm going to get on with this kid who I already love talking to, even though he's not quite a kid anymore. Let's get the show on the road, huh? Let's see. Go back to our overload here. Hello, everyone. How are you? Let's see how many people we have in the chat. We have 10 people in the chat here late tonight. I'm going to actually let you guys stack up while I quickly run through the sponsors. So I was going to not list the sponsors on the top lines of this, but I don't list them on the After Dark show anyway, you know? So maybe we just go ahead, you know, I have quite a few people that are like, man, it's so late. It's so fucking late. I hope you guys enjoy this late After Dark show. In fact, let's be real.
Welcome to Ballsh After Dark with your host, Sean Bradley.
Yeah, I brought her home with me. You know, I had to, right? I mean, I brought the whole board home with me this time. I sold my old board and now I've replaced it with the board from the shop. So now I got to buy another freaking board. So anyway, let's go through who sponsors this here shindig real quick. All right. So Reptiles to you. We still don't have a new coupon code. I got to get with Debs about that. Figured next month, February, would be a good time to start. Give her a break. Let her make all that money. Right. This month, you know, so jump on reptilestoyou.com, fill out an application. Like you need an application to ship stuff, right? Fill out an account with who I think is probably the most responsible shipping company around in America, at least. And I really enjoyed working with them. So give Reptiles to You a try. MorphMarket.com. Let's check them out. You know, we always go on this site twice a week, usually when we have shows twice a week. Sorry about Tuesday's show. I had to deal with some personal stuff and just couldn't get to it. So hit up MorphMarket. Go check it out. We're going to look at it today from a different perspective in a completely different land. All right. So C-SERPENTS, rack systems, all that fun stuff. Ooh, he put a new page up, or did I miss that last time? Yeah, it's on a different screen now. So now it shows up at the bottom because they had different resolution set. But check out Chris at C-SERPENTS, man, for some awesome PVC racks and incubators and all that great stuff. Exotics by Nature. That'd be me. You know, look me up on MorphMarket. I'm a sponsor of this here podcast. Got about, I don't know, almost 173 listings there. So, yeah, go check that out. Got some pretty cool shit up there still. What else? US Arc. Man, the alerts. You guys need to get on your shit, okay? I mean, it's been like constantly New Mexico, Connecticut, Washington, Virginia. Like, it's been nonstop. Like, you know, get on your shit. Get on US Arc. I've also, with the US Arc signs, the benefit signs, we're going to be, I figured out the pricing. It looks like we're going to be doing them for like $100 shipped. And I'm going to have to give like $40 I'm going to give like $40 to US Arc unless you order more signs. If you order more than one, if you want to share them with the people in your area, we can probably get the donation levels up. So I've actually built several signs. I've got like 20 of them on the shelf ready to ship. I'm going to start shipping them next week. So you'll see some of the creators, like maybe Nicole Tisdale, a few Shane Kelly, a few other people like that, posting their US Arc signs. And you'll also see them in other parts of the world too. I'm probably going to ship one to Australia. I'll ship one down to or up to Canada. I'm going to ship several up to Canada. So, you know, help us fight for your rights. Okay. So you guys really need to, yeah, Fry needs one down under. You know, here's your fries. Like, Sean, I need one down under. Yeah, definitely. I'm definitely, what I want to do is I want to find out how difficult it is for you and Luke and Colin and stuff to all get together on that. And I'll do one shipment to Australia for all of you if you can bust them up and ship them amongst yourselves. If it's easier for me just to ship them directly to each one of you, then we can. Serpentine, you'll definitely have one. To take to Ireland. Yeah, for sure. You definitely need one before you guys leave to go to Ireland. You know, so all that fun stuff. We'll definitely do it here soon. So just trying to raise some money and raise some awareness in a different way. You know, if you guys want to see what I'm talking about, I don't have one here with me at home, but you can always check out Snakes and the Fat Man. He's got a really nice stained one that I did for him that's sitting on the back on the wall behind him where he sits. It's a really beautiful little sign. So, you know, support usart.org. And, you know, I'm going to do my best to help support them with my machines however I can. So, you know, get on it. Bravo Zulu, thank you very much for supporting the Ballshit podcast. It very much, all of you sponsors were very pivotal in helping me run this show and do a professional job. So thank you very much to Ectothermic Dungeon, Infinite Possible Pythons. You guys are absolutely priceless. John Woodruff, I saw him on a podcast tonight, actually. This is him right here. He was on this podcast. He might actually still be on it, talking right now. I'm not really sure. They were still going a few minutes ago when I checked on it to see on the Who Are You podcast. You know, I said, John's over there talking about how many kids he's selling. You know, I started having kids, and I was like, and he never stopped having kids and having kids and having kids. Reptile Collective, Steve Beamer. Look, he's got siding. Look at that. Boy, that shit's going up fast, right? Again, like I said, this is all the fast stuff. Wait till the inside, you know. Reptile Collective has been a hell of a supporter of the podcast. Savages, the Savage Constrictors, they are actually on their way out of the podcast sponsorship game, but it looks like their new tattoo shop is going to sponsor in place of them. So hey, we'll have a tattoo shop as a sponsor. That'll be interesting. Strange, Josh Strange, love you, bro. Thanks for sharing stuff. Thanks for being a great sponsor, you know, for the podcast. You can see you can see Josh Strange on a few of the Snakes and the Fat Man episodes and all that fun stuff. So let's see. Yeah, I run a Cash App or a PayPal. I like that. I'm going to get to that comment here in a minute. All right. So that's that. Let me do a shout out to all these folks in the chat, and we'll see if we can get this guy. You know what? I'm going to bring DJ on for this. What's up, DJ? How you doing tonight, bro?
Hey, Sean. No, doing well. And you, man? It's just past 4. Oh, well, just past 6 in the morning. So if I'm still a bit asleep, you guys need to excuse me. But yeah, I'm excited to be on the podcast, man. Like I said to you, been watching your show for quite so many years, and you know it's great to be on your show finally. Eh?
It's extremely impressive that you did find it and that you did find value in it. So I do thank you for listening to things like that. You know, I think the resource was global. I think it did help people all over, but no, particularly in your country, you know, very important to me. So, all right, there's 22 people in the chat. Let me give a shout out. You know, Mike Narita was in here way early. Yeah, I'll be back at 8. Well, 8 what? California time, huh? You're on the West Coast, Mike. So yeah, he's in California. He must be on the West Coast. Quirky, what's up, man? Jesus, yeah, exactly right. It's 10 o'clock at night. These guys were all in here at like 7 o'clock. These like this was 3 hours ago that these guys left these comments, because normally I run my show at 7, so they were all in here at 7 just waiting. South Africa, 11 p.m. here will be 4 or 5 a.m. for DJ. Yes, 6 a.m. for DJ. Yeah. Holdback Rack said I might be too old for this time slot. Yeah, these Americans, man, a bunch of pussies. You know what, though? These are the people that are up for Brian's What's in Your Cup podcast, which is at 7 a.m. on the East Coast. I can't be up at that early in the morning, guys. If you know, there's just no way. PCF Funny Royals, it's good to always have you here. Serpentine, good to have you. Who else do we have? Texas Kid, what's going on? Ectothermic Dungeon in the house. Thank you for sponsoring the podcast, bro. Actually, I'm going to jump over here real quick and run thank my Patreon sponsors real quick while we're doing this. All right, let's see. Quirky, I already called you, didn't I? What else we got? We got people just floating in. 905 Royals, good to have you. Arwen, good to have you. I like to shout out to all these people that come in here early. 25 of them, right? I mean, that's not too bad at 10 o'clock at night when I normally don't run. Jaffe, what's up, man? Up there in Canada. And another person that suggested DJ to me. You know, several people suggested you to me, bro, that you come on the show. Yeah. Yeah. Or should I say brew? I don't know. Is that too posh? Is that a posh thing for you? What? You say bro or brew? What do you say?
Hey man, we call it whatever. It doesn't matter. I'm very easygoing, you know. So I'm Afrikaans, so I don't know if you guys know. Afrikaans is my first language, you know. So my name actually stands for Daniel Jacobus. So that's my.
That language is fucking amazing to me, bro. I love that language, man. It's fucking wild. That language is wild. That's probably one of the most wild languages that I know of, I guess.
Hey, but I think we've got almost over 20 different languages in the country, you know. So. It's crazy to think.
It's like China. It's China all over again. That's exactly how China is. Jonathan Sell, what's up? It's good to see you. Steve Richardson, Lou Balls, what's going on? You know, so many faces. William Philippek. Didn't get to meet DJ when I was hanging out with Anthony, but there are some impressive collections out there in South Africa. And this is my main dude that told me to get you on the show. This is my dude. This guy right here is one of the main guys that asked me to get you on the show. So it's absolutely pivotal to my production. Now he did a show. He did an After Dark. So go check out TJW. Check out William Philippek's Ballsh After Dark. It was probably one of the more engrossed and knowledgeable After Darks that we've done. So let's see. 217. Anybody you recognized in here? Anybody come in? Look, Steve wish you a happy belated birthday. His was the 16th. How old you turned, Steve? This young man turned 21. So how long you been in the ball python game, DJ? Let's go back to the history of what you got going there.
So man, I've got my first ball python was in 2010. I think I was just around 8 years. It was actually from Con Prince, which is basically one of the pioneers, especially of the ball pythons in South Africa. Unfortunately, he recently immigrated to New Zealand, so unfortunately his collection is no longer. But there's a few oaks, definitely, Con being one of them, being the pioneers in South Africa. And I'd say Rassie Erasmus, and as well his father. I can't remember his father's exact name. I think it was Gerrit or Gerhard, I think. But great people, and definitely, paved the way for the ball python industry in South Africa. So I started with ball pythons in 2010. I think I got my first clutch 2013, and I think I'll say I've been.
So you were what, 12 years old, 11 years old, 12 years old, something like that?
Yeah.
2013?
Yeah.
So you got your first ball python clutch when you were 12 to 13 years old. And this is primarily your op at that point? Or what?
Yeah,
were you doing it alone? Were you doing it with a parent or a brother or sister?
So like I told you, Sean, my mom initially invested, in the company. It's still my hobby, it's still to the date. Sure. I can't, I love the snakes, I can't think I'll be a day without them. But, initially when I started, she really helped me took off. And like I told you, unfortunately, some unforeseen family issues came around later. Mm-hmm. And, the snakes became like our main source of income, so I was very thankful, very fortunate that the snakes, I was in the position to do it, because otherwise without the snakes, I don't know where I'll be sitting today, probably much first, I can say, not as good or not as...
not good financially, right. So it was there for you whenever the shit hit the fan, you were able to really pull from your collection because it had already matured at that point, right? So you were in like the right place at the right time then, because... I mean, a lot of us could see our collections growing, and like to have a profit point could be many years away. So you were already many years into it whenever your hardship hit you, and you were able to use the ball python marketplace. So the marketplace has been pretty good for you. Yeah.
So like you said, I think the first season where I'd say like it started to become profitable was in 2020. When my first majority of my old bag started to pay, because in 2017 was my biggest season in a sense of, years before then I was still breeding clutches, but I didn't breed as many animals. I was doing 5 or 10 clutches a season, maybe 15 at the most. And I think 2017 we did 76 clutches. And further from there on, we've been maintaining that number. This season, I think we just did over. I think it's just under 100, so like 98. And it's a comfortable number for myself.
Yeah, that's really not a bad number, bro. I really enjoyed that number when we would have about that number. I think if I really, if I really get going on that, if I really think back on that, all those years, I want to say the year that I did almost 300 was a nightmare to me because because I'm not a big wholesaler, bro. I don't like wholesaling a lot. Like I know everybody in the wholesale game, but like I feel bad when I don't know. I'm just kind of a prick about it. I guess I feel bad when my animals end up in a mass merchandising store, not in good care. Right. So I'm like, I don't really want to be that guy. I'd rather be the guy going to the show and selling to the child or to the teen or to you. Right. I'd much rather that. But I mean, but that year that we had 200 and I think we had 235 ball python clutches and then other shit. Right. And then other shit. So it was like corn snakes and king snakes and all those snakes. Right. And then so you have all that. And not only are you trying to source food for, hunt thousands of ball pythons, but also so Quirky brought up the do they have MorphMarket started there pretty much. It was America and South Africa, right? Was the first MorphMarket, I think, was the first. You were the first country outside of America for MorphMarket to cater to, I believe, was South Africa.
And I think that started roughly the same year as MorphMarket actually launched in
America,
States,
right? Yeah, 2014, 15, something like that, right? Like right off. And you've been on there, I imagine, since the beginning of it. Yeah, I mean, you've been a part of it.
Yeah, I think 2017, Sean. That's if I think my store.
You're absolutely right. 2017 is your store comes up February 2017. February 10th, 2017 is when you joined. Yeah, and I believe that's when he put it in. In 2015, it was America only. And then 2017 is right, I believe, when John put it up on MorphMarket. It shows you export to all of these countries here, which is wonderful. And we will talk about that because you do have a very challenging situation in your country to get animals out or in, I should say. Maybe not so much out, but in. Okay, so let's see. You say you started with a bearded dragon though, yeah, when you were young.
So so mostly, I don't know if you guys know, but mostly of the South African population, I'd say, yes, 95% of our guys or the population of South Africa are like deathly afraid of snakes or reptiles in general. So, as a youngster, all of my, from the start, I wanted reptiles. So against my parents' permission, my aunt, they bought me a bearded dragon at the age of 4 years old. And I had that bearded dragon, probably almost 10 years. And I actually moved it on to another youngster who also started off with the animals, which I thought was a cool entry animal because, I started off with them. So, afterwards I got my first corn snake. Everyone I think starts with the corn snakes. So I had a corn snake at the age of 6. Unfortunately, back then I wasn't the best, so I didn't also know all about the snakes so well. So unfortunately, I had 1 or 2 escapees of the corn snakes, but and I just get a call from a neighbor. Yeah, but then I just get a call from a neighbor and tell me, listen, your snake is in the yard. So, luckily after many years now, I've found my true love, and I must say the ball pythons is where it's at, man. I think just because they're so fascinating and the amount of different mutations you get, it's really amazing.
Well, it's definitely taken off. It is definitely a lot different than it was, as we discussed before the show. When I've mentioned the South African magazine Ultimate Exotics on the show a couple of times, so DJ and I get to talk about it for real, and how that company and how their stuff has affected him over the years. But in 2004-ish, there was a Ultimate Exotics article or issue with a piebald ball python on the cover. And there were only in 2004, there were only a handful of morphs that were listed in that magazine, bro. Like, I'm going to find the magazine when I go back to the shop. I really am pissed that I didn't bring that one with me here because I would love to have had that one with me here. to really go over with you like what mutations were being talked about in your country in 2004. I didn't write the article, but I did submit the photography for some of the article, and the animal on the cover was our piebald ball python from the original days. So dude, you would have been you would have been not even born, right? Like you would have been born, or you've been 2 years old, right? You've been two or 3 years old at the time, and this magazine was well in circulation. So South Africa's had a reptile trade for a 95% scaredy country. South Africa has had hell of a reptile trade for like how long, right? I mean, like stupid long, right? I mean, so it's crazy. So, you know,
I think the exotic trade is quite big, eh? You know,
just the exotic trade in general. So what's that like? Are there crazy pet people in South Africa? I mean, there's tigers and shit. Like, you know, I mean, obviously they, you know.
Yeah, you know, Sean, I already classify our snake people as not normal people. You know, I think we're all a bit extra. So, but yeah, we've got a few interesting guys keeping different animals here in South Africa. You know, most of the animals I think being kept is like the macaws, and you know, or actually being exported commercially is the macaws, and also you know giraffes and lions and all of these kind of you know big game animals. Unfortunately, you know, with the
I remember when Brian Barshak and I were close, and he wanted a fucking giraffe, and he researched the fucking giraffe. Like he really looked into getting a fucking giraffe. Him and his son Noah wanted a fucking giraffe, and it was like they wanted a giraffe so bad. He researched. I'm like, motherfucker, bro, y'all are serious? And he's like, no, serious. I want a fucking giraffe. And I'm like, you're out of your mind, bro. I'll take a horse, bro. I don't need a giraffe. You know, that just seems crazy to me to have a garage that tall. I don't know. I mean, you have to have a fucking, I don't know. It seems wild, but I mean, yeah, I'm sure that there are a pretty good bit of wildlife breeding operations there in South Africa. What's your population density where you live? You live in a very populated place? You live in a rural area? How would you call it? Would you call it a country area, city area?
No, so yeah, I stay in like you said, the suburbs, basically like Pretoria, South Africa. So you know, a lot of people think that the lions and stuff roam through in the streets, but you know, those are more in the parks, you know, in the national parks, and you know, the Kruger National Park, which is amazing. I tell everyone I speak to around the world, you know, if you get the chance, come and visit Africa or South Africa. I know we get a bad rap, but you know, we're actually not a bad country. We've got amazing people, and I think in general, if you come and visit South Africa, I think your perception would change, you know, because we've got a lot of, you know, in my opinion, we've got the best wildlife, you know, from rhinos to lions to leopards. We've got it all, basically all, you know. So
you've got it all. Yeah, you've got it all. You've got it all in a lot of different terrain and things, a lot of different environments and stuff like
very
that. Very
different. Right? Yeah, and all of we've got also some of the best venomous snakes, you know. We've got,
that's what William was saying that here. There's a lot more crossover between venomous keepers and non-venomous keepers. I saw a lot of ball python people with venomous stuff. We're here in the States. You almost never see stuff like that. And you're right. You almost never see stuff like that, you know? And so I'm with 905 kind of, man. South Africa is definitely on the bucket list, right? I mean, for sure. Yeah. I mean, that sounds like an amazing place to live, bro. It sounds amazing. So
anyone that needs to come and visit just needs to hit me up, man. I'll take you guys through. We can go and check some awesome snakes, you know, and look at the wildlife we've got here, you know. Anyone is welcome to come and visit my facility. You know, and I'll take you guys around. Just have a good time.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Well, you know, I mean, so ball pythons is where you settled. You keep any other species in there or what? You pretty much just that.
You know, I've got a few others. I've got a bearded dragon again. I've got the albino iguana. I've got a rhino iguana. I've got the Burmese.
I like that you have a cyclorid, bro. That cyclora is probably fun, right? How old's your rhino iguana? How big is it?
It's turning on 2 years. But
I'm small still, but very cool.
He's a very defensive animal, very defensive. So I'm still trying to work with him.
When you get it when they get up to about maybe, I don't know, 3/4 of a meter or so, then they'll really start to calm down, but you have to be careful about feeding. Like they're food aggressive, and they'll be aggressive towards the person feeding them. More than, dude, my employee cannot fuck with my cyclorus without them trying to kill her. And that's anyone else can reach. My 10-year-old daughter can reach right in there and mess with them, but my employee that feeds them cannot mess with them. So like you have to be careful while you feed them and stuff, you know, and try to befriend them, dude. They're like a dog. Like they're just like a dog. So like I personally, they're one of my favorite groups of reptiles because they're so intelligent and they're so interactive. And on that note, I'd like to congratulate you for picking a good name. So just in case ball pythons don't suit you in a few years, you have reptiles for fucking centuries, bro. And that is a killer name. I love reptiles for centuries. I like the logo. I like the Greek shit underneath it. I think it's wonderful. I think it's great that you had your broad view in such a country where obviously you have a very narrow focus in a country that has such a broad animal view. So like reptiles for centuries will last for fucking centuries, man. You can do whatever you want. You know,
that's hopefully the point, man. You know,
I love that it's not DJ's balls, bro. I just gotta say.
Hey, man, at the time I was contemplating of making a DJ snake, but at that time, you know, I was still a youngster. I thought that would suit me better, eh?
No, I think that you're thinking in the mind that I thought with exotics by nature, you're thinking much bigger than you. And I think that's important. Sure. I think it's important to think much, much bigger than you so that you're not like, you know, changing your name in a few years to, you know, something like Canova, right? Like where Justin Kabilka or JKR is just like, you know, I got to change it because it's definitely grown beyond the scope of me. Right. And so like, I think that's important.
Extremely well, eh?
So
you're doing very well, eh?
Yeah. So how much tell me about importing ball pythons from the United States. Tell me what that's like to call a United States breeder and say, I'm in South Africa and I really want your snake. Talk to me.
Man, most of the guys, I think if we message them, they think I think it's better now, but I think many years ago they thought it's scams. You know, because even early on in the days when I started, you know, because the pied ball python was my, you know, still to today, it's my favorite animal just because it's so different. You know, I think everyone's used to your albinos and, you know, let's say your hypos still maybe, but no one has seen your pied, you know. So to import from USA itself or any other country into South Africa, you know, like you need both CITES paperwork. So, you know, both your export and your import CITES paperwork. Then it needs to be accompanied by a vet certificate. Every country's got different regulations, you know. For instance, it can be 24 hours before, 72 hours before. So it just depends on what the country stipulates. And, which the biggest problem, I think, and what prohibits a lot of people of importing animals is the quarantine, you know, to get a registered quarantine facility to quarantine the animals in. So that's the hardest part because basically once the animals arrive, you know, I can't go and pick them up at the airport even, you know, a quarantine, the guy who's going to do the quarantine needs to go and pick up the animals. It's a very sterile, like it needs to be very sterile, you know, double doors, its own sink as a quarantine facility. Whatever goes into the facility for 30 days can't go out for 30 days, you know. There's certain regulations that need to comply by. So I think that's the hardest point or the hardest situation with the importation of reptiles in general into South Africa, you know, is to get someone to do the quarantine for you. And I think that just the effort, you know, the paperwork, you know, because last time I imported from UK, it was actually last year, and both my CITES paperwork and my vet certificates were declined just because they were, just because they were classifying it as commercial purposes. And I think it was 12 animals and they stipulated, but this time it came from the UK side. According to them, you know, if you ship more than 10 animals, it's classified as commercial purposes, you know. So luckily we got the documentation through and the animals came through to South Africa. But I'd say out of everything.
Yeah, you know, man, fuck. You think about the expense you pay on that shipment to only ship 10 snakes seems so wasteful. you know, and
Yeah.
like to stay under 10 to have that's just like China used to be with whatever Hong Kong was with more than 25 or whatever it was, you know. It's just like,
Yeah.
dude, it costs $1,000 to ship a fucking box. By the time I pay this fee and this guy and that guy, I spend $1,000 shipping a box and I can only put 10 snakes in it. Fuck you. That's crazy. But that's us being spoiled over here, right? With our overnight FedEx fucking 65 to 70, you know, $80 delivery fees. You know, we are really spoiled with that too. You know, how does the shipping within your country work? If you're sending stuff out, do you use couriers? Do you deliver it yourself? How does that work?
Yeah, so we don't have like a dedicated reptile courier. We've got there's one new company that started up, which is basically helping with the transportation of the snakes. But that's like a normal, how can you say, independent business. So you know, I think they do it very small term. We've got Bid Air, which is basically like a pet services for you know, how can you say, like flights or like if you spend airport to airport.
Right.
The only problem with that is they've also got different regulations, and you know, sometimes I don't even want you to ship the animals you know, in the box because they're scared to see the snake. If they see the snake, they don't want to ship it, you know. So there's this, yeah, man, you know, and they change the regulations the whole time. Then they want it in a clear Tupperware, then they want it in a carton box, you know. So it's just too many admin, you know. So I must say, since we have this this new client or this new business is helping with the transportation of the animals, it's helped us a lot, you know. In a sense, we still need to get all of the paperwork done, but it just makes it a lot easier. But yeah, getting back to, you know, like you said about the imports, I just want to quickly touch again on that. You know, I've got a shipment actually coming in the next couple of months from the UK, and I think just to land the animals, just transportation cost, you know, all of the class inclusive, I think I'll spend around 200,000 rand, which is around $12,000, just in transportation costs, just to get the animals to my facility, or basically to get them into quarantine. Right. You know, so
how long is the quarantine run?
4 weeks, 30 days, basically a month.
Wow.
Yeah,
such a long quarantine process too. Wow. Huh.
Hey man, and the problem is, you know, like with the previous time I imported the animals, you know, the guys who do the quarantine are not necessarily like interested or not focusing on the ball pythons. You know, they're more like in a wildlife trade.
They're focusing on all kind of other shit, and your shit's the most valuable shit there.
No, exactly. And last time
that sucks.
I bought a pastel zebra head to hypo from Adam Chesler. And after a quarantine, yes, man, I think the animal lost almost like 100 grams. You know, I was definitely scared that the animal was not going to make it because it wasn't feeding inside the quarantine. And when I went to go and pick up the animals, the racks were not even plugged in. You know, so after the quarantine, when they came to my facility, I had to quarantine them another month just to make sure.
Right. You're like, dude, are you making my shit sick? Right. Exactly. Are you quarantining it to inoculate it? Are you actually inoculating my shit with stuff? Yeah, I mean, really, that's scary. Like when you're in a quarantine and the health and the quality of the animals being driven down. I don't think that any American or very many American or any worldwide real hobbyists pay much thought to what you go through in your country to do what you're doing. And I think the expense you're spending is fucking sad and disgusting. I really do. Like, I think it's gross that you have to waste. I mean, it's such waste of money. But then again, it is what it is. So,
yeah, man, at the end of the day, we're all snake addicts, you know. So whatever we need to do to get the snakes in, you know, it's what we have to do.
You do what you do to get it done, right? You do what you do to get it done. So, so what is that? So Americans, do they fly directly into you, or do you have to bounce off of another international airport? Do you go direct to South Africa?
Yeah, you know, for many years we imported from Chunku Dynasty Reptiles. Chunku and what was it? Mark Mandic, and we also did a lot of shipments from Justin. You know, so I'd say most of my imported animals came from those three guys. You know, so I think those were good stock animals. You know, but since then, I think the last import from the USA was in 2020. just before COVID-19. So I think past that, there wasn't any shipments coming in from the USA itself, just because I think it's so hard and so costly. You know, when we were importing from all of these other guys, they used to charge you like 30% of the animal's value for shipping. So let's say, for instance, you buy a snake of $10,000, you're going to pay $3,000 additional for shipping. You know, so that didn't also make sense to me. You know,
plus the taxes, plus your VAT tax. What's your import tax?
Exactly.
What's the percentage in South Africa? Do you know it? You know, percentages 30, 25.
I think it's 25.
25 seems about right. I mean, I think Taiwan was 30, and Taiwan was probably one of the highest ones that I ever shipped it to. It was fucking insane. 30, 35, something like that. 35%. It was insane.
Yeah, that's great. That's actually crazy, eh?
That's fucking wild. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Taiwan was the most expensive one back in its day. You know, I haven't really done much exporting in a long time though. Now, you know, I mean, and I don't recall ever exporting to South Africa. Although I know I've sold animals to people in South Africa. I know I have animals in South Africa. So more than likely, I think this was before you guys could quarantine there. I thought that back then that they had to quarantine them in England and then have them shipped down, if I was told correctly, but I could have been told. This is a long time ago though, bro. This was probably in like 2010, 12, something in there that we were exporting a lot more, because we were exporting boas a lot then too. You know, we were bringing a lot of BCI. We had the high techs and Aztecs and high techs and all that type of stuff, you know. So yeah.
Yeah, I think, you know, like, I think majority of the ball pythons that came, you know, a couple of years ago, I mean, 20, 30 years ago, especially from Ghana, Togo, and Benin, I think, you know, I'm going to be honest with you, I think those ball pythons were probably smuggled in, which is not probably the best way to explain it, but that's how it was done, you know. And I think at those times, the regulations, there weren't anything in place for the importation of reptiles, you know. So the guys were making... They had to make a plan, and but since then, man, you know, the exports has really become, or the imports has not been heard a lot from. You know, I think currently the guys, we've got actually most of the genetics, in my opinion. But I think, you know, to import new animals, you need to join with other people. You can't do it by yourself. You know, it's just going to be too costly. So
you have to work together on it. So
yeah, no, for sure.
Having that topic broach us into how is it to work. I mean, of course, William said it took me a year and a half to get my Angolan pythons from South Africa.
Okay,
unfortunate, but at least you got some fresh blood from.
Yeah, I think I shipped actually those Angolans out. I think they were in my facility, and they went with the shipment of ball pythons. We shipped over, I think in August, or November. I can't even remember exactly.
Sweet. Awesome. Yeah, that's great. So thanks for helping out my boy, because he's awesome. I love this dude. He's great.
And Golden's are awesome, eh? They're a bit nippy animals, but
you raise them up just fine though. I mean, they grow up okay. They're okay. They don't grow up anything like a blood or something unpredictable like that. I don't find. I mean, I find they're pretty awesome. You know, and on his show that we did, we had a long talk about the South African rock python. That was one of the main things we talked about, was the South African rock python, and that's absolutely insane. I mean, I think we all need those in our life.
Amazing animals. As a youngster, I kept one. You know, I was always catching snakes around we were staying close to a small river. So you know, after school I would go and actually just catch rock monitors. We call it scarpstekers, the herald snake. You know, a lot of different snakes. And I must say, so to the date, the African rock python is an amazing animal. They actually became an endangered species this side, which is very sad, because like I said to you, most of the guys in South Africa are definitely afraid of animals or snakes in general.
Snakes. You know? So there's a lot of snake killing.
A lot, you know, because they've got the misperception that every snake is a bad snake, you know.
Right.
So unfortunately, you start seeing less and less of that.
It's tragic. That's tragic, especially something like that. I mean, that's a phenomenal species. I think everyone should look into those and see more about them. Most
They're
people
very
don't.
similar to
Most people
your.
don't think about
Yeah.
the South African rock python as being all that different. But
No, it's
right?
very
I
similar
mean,
to your berms, but I think like
right.
the African rock has got how can you say, like the scales are a bit more rough in a sense. They've got a more of a texture almost. They're just different. They're a bit more, how can you say, nippy, especially as adults. Or not as adults, but in
Oh
general,
yeah,
they're a bit more nippy.
Bay is definitely mean as fuck. But the other one.
But I see even you guys have got like the patternless African rocks there. I've never seen them here locally.
Yeah, but dude, I don't know, bro. Was that pure or was that some hybrid with Burmese? You gotta be concerned about that,
Oh yeah,
because
I
like
think so.
some of that shit could have been hybridized or something along the way, man.
Very,
Like
yeah,
there was a
I never thought about that actually, because
yeah,
until
bro.
I've not heard about any
Them
morph
fuckers
of the
and
African.
them dude Americans with rock pythons and Burmese were shameless motherfuckers. Back in the day, them motherfuckers didn't care. But yeah, we were talking about natalensis.
Yeah,
I'll pull up a
I think
photo.
unfortunately
of-
with the berms, I don't know if you guys is the same. I know you got the Lacey Act and stuff, but
Yeah.
even with my female, she's chipped and she's got all of her paperwork. I've got a permit for her. But I bought her, way before any of this came into place, which is sad.
Natalensis. Such a
berms
fucking
are
killer.
some of the-
Look at that fucking dude. That thing is badass, man. That's natalensis.
I'll send you a picture of one of my friends. They caught one on their farm. I think the female was just over 4 meters.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, but they're amazing animals. Eating impala.
Eating an impala. Yeah, right there. Wow, that's pretty crazy. Yeah, natalensis is definitely cool as shit. C-Bay was always mean as fuck. I never had experiences with natalensis, but C-Bay I had a lot of experience with. But yeah, these things are badass for sure. And I'm glad that they're at least protecting them now. How active is the country about protection though? Like how do they have a chance? Do they even have a chance?
Yeah, man, they'd rather not get into that too much. But yeah, no,
fuck, they don't even have a chance, right? They don't even have a chance. It sucks. It sucks. So sad. So sad.
I think in our national parks, especially since the poaching and stuff, it's very well protected there. Like the Kruger National Park, we actually visited it in December, and that's very well protected. And I think in general, wildlife are being looked after. But I think, in my opinion, Sean, there's just a lack of funds and motivation for the people, and
right.
I've been seeing that, across with everything, like we've been. You guys also have got, all of your different with USA ARC. We're also trying to set up something now, and I think it's very valuable. We need to have something to protect our rights, because it's also, as the industry is growing, there's more eyes on it as well. So later on, currently we might not have a problem with it, but maybe in the near future we could have, face some issues.
Right.
So we're starting to work with, trying to get some stuff in place to hopefully get something in place to help us in the future with, let's say, certain problems do arise, with exportation or importation, because they already, like, I don't know if you heard about the story about the lion that came out in Singapore Airlines or on the airport at Singapore. But since then they cancelled, or they're not taking any more livestock, and that's also been affecting us, because I ship to Hong Kong, and normally we use Singapore as a connection flight.
Right.
So all
Hong
of
Kong's,
this.
You said you shipped to Hong Kong, so was I right about that 25 animal limit? Is that still in place? Do they still have an animal limit over there?
No, they don't.
No, they don't.
I've been active. Yeah, no, they don't have anymore. I've been actively working with his name, or his company name is MorphMarket Hong Kong. I think it's Herman Reptiles as well. So I've been actively working. He's actually been my first export client, and I must say, only got
That's
good
good.
things to say about him. Always been an easy transaction. I think we're going almost at this year. We should actually send almost close to in total already 1,000 snakes to him. I think we've done already
Wow. Okay.
around 700 to him in
Jesus.
the last
Okay.
5
So
years.
he's reselling your stuff for you then. Okay. He must
he's
be. He's not buying
yeah,
it for himself, right? He's not just collecting it. He's reselling it. That's wonderful. That makes
and he's
life,
bought it
it makes life easy, right?
100%, man. And I
So
think
what
he's also keeping
percentage
some animals.
do you think you sell in your home country as far as your production is concerned now? Like as of let's say 2022, if you had to throw a rough number on it, what percentage of your production do you sell in South Africa versus outside?
Hey, Sean, that's actually a very interesting question. So I'm still actually how can you say, a full-time student. So I study at the University of Pretoria. I'm in my third year this year of business management. So hopefully from next year on, I can be a full-time snake breeder finally. So that's the aim.
And have some business skills under your belt, which would be good.
Yeah, So and I actually did a exam project, and I took my reptile business. Because that's what I'm passionate about.
Oh, sure. Why wouldn't you? I'm sure that's an easy report to do for a class, whether it's a thesis for I've had people do it for everything. I've had kids do it for projects throughout high school. I've had college kids do it as theses for whole business classes for master's degrees. I've every which way around it. So that's good. That's good.
Yeah. So basically, and I broke it down exactly about, I think I produced over just 450 animals last season. Out of the 450, I think 80 animals were sold locally, and the rest were exported. I think we exported, let's say a bit more. Between wholesale animals, I don't produce a lot of wholesale animals. I feel exactly the same as what you feel about it. A lot of guys would produce plenty of clutches, but then they would, I've heard some terrible stories of the guys.
Horror stories of stuff.
They're freezing the animals right out of the egg, and I don't believe in that. Honestly,
that's wild.
I've got a couple of animals. With one eye, I keep those animals. Until I feel I meet someone that's a responsible keeper.
Thank you.
If I had a lady actually come in this past week, and she just keeps the animals as pets. And I had a hatchling female or sub-adult female with a bit of like 1 or 2 minor kinks in the back. And I thought this is a perfect animal for, such person, because they'll take good care for the snake, and they're not going to try and go and breed the animal. But to get back to, so last year I exported 250 animals. It was plus or minus 250 animals. Maybe a bit more, maybe a bit less, and the rest of the majority was sold in the South African, market. So, and then I would say out of the 450 animals, I'd say around 50 was also animals, and the other, 150 was probably sold in South Africa. So it's almost an equal split in a sense.
All right. Well, yeah, but it's good that you're actually getting yourself out there that way. You've been doing this a while, so people have you and have trust, and they understand that you understand, if I'm making sense, right? Like, one of the things that I could honestly say that I'm flattered by is having that reputation that you build to have that trust with those international clients. I just sold that 2-headed corn snake to a company in the UK, along with 3 ball pythons that totaled over $50,000 for the 4 snakes, right? And before I even shipped the stuff, I got 50 grand in my bank account, because they can research that I've been around and that I've done this before, and that I'm not going to rob them of whatever, and they're going to get their shit, And so it's all said and done, like, peaceful with that. So you've found that, though, right? Now that, like, your name has been around and RFC has been around long enough to where you get that respect, right? You get that, like, people trust in DJ, and they're like, oh, I'll send you some shit, or I'll buy some shit from you. I'm sure the guy in Hong Kong and you have a very fluid operation at this point. If you shipped him 700 animals, bro, I don't have any customer that I've ever shipped in 23 years of my company. I don't have any customer that I can honestly say that I've shipped that many animals to. I don't think. I don't
Yeah, no,
think.
Hong Kong, Hong
I
Kong
really
has been
don't.
great.
That's a great thing for you, you know.
You know, and in the start, you know, Sean, it's actually quite interesting, you know, with the export animals, you know, at the start, when I first sent my animals, I think the first shipment we did was 2018. The first animals didn't feed as well right off the bat. Okay, so then I changed my methods because they feed strictly frozen food and majority mice. You know, I feed mainly I feed live and I feed rats. You know, so that was a huge transition, I think, for the animals, especially the adults. You know, I've seen it even with myself. If I buy new animals in, I only buy hatchlings now, just because they adapt easier. You know, I've seen it plenty of times over and over. You know, if you import adults, they normally skip a season. Any case, you know, so it's rather better to get a hatchling, raise it up. You know what the animal's been feeding on. You just know the animal better. You know, so. But yeah, with Hong Kong and stuff, I started to feed my animals that I shipped to them in frozen, you know, and since then, I must have seen huge difference. The animals do better. They start feeding right off the bat. And, you know, since I've been feeding frozen food, I think he's also been more satisfied, or his customers has been more satisfied.
Oh, yeah, for sure. That or you feed a variance, right? Like 1 week you feed frozen and next week you feed live. 1 week you feed frozen. And then you can tell your clients internationally that they can do whatever they want because you got some people, some places can't do frozen thawed, right? And then your animals are trained up that way. So, so how are you on rodents? Do you raise your own rodents? How does that supply work for you on rodents?
Yeah, so I've got my own rodent setup, but still I don't produce enough rodents, you know, so yearly I still, my biggest expense for the snakes is definitely rodents. You know, I'd say I buy almost R500,000 of worth of rodents a year. So that's, I'd say around $50,000.
Yeah.
That's just livestock rodents I buy in. Then I've got a full-time employee as well for the rodents, and you know I buy 3 tons of rat food every third month. You know, so the rats workout is definitely is my biggest expense. And
are you supplying any other breeders with rodents? Are you selling rodents to people as well, or no? You're using everything you got.
No, and at the time, you know, I buy in. You know, I buy in as many as I can, and I've actually. So I try and be proactive in a sense. I never always prepared well enough, but I've got around 3,000, you know, rodents, mediums and smalls froze up for this upcoming season. Just because I know, you know, our seasons differ totally from you guys. So we're complete opposite. You guys start pairing, I think, November, if I'm correct.
Yeah, October, November, something like that.
Yeah, we start only pairing April, May. You know, I start pairing in May. So it's actually cool because we breed totally opposite, you know. And if you look again, I mean, we're in Africa, but we're in South Africa, and the ball pythons are more Upper Africa. You know, I think it's a lot warmer, and you know, time difference.
Oh yeah, man. I mean, a hell of a lot warmer. I mean, you know, yeah, dude. I mean, the difference in being up in this neighborhood, and being way the fuck down here. Yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, you guys get pretty chilly down there in the winter. I would imagine. What's the coldest you get in Pretoria?
In Pretoria, I'd say sometimes we get into like the minus, but very rarely. -2 Celsius. You know, Cape Town and the Free State normally gets a bit cooler. Free State is more, how can you say, like open fields. We call it the high fields or the bushveld. You know, it's a bit more open plains, and yeah, just generally it starts to snow there, and it's close to the Lesotho Mountains. I don't know if you familiar with Lesotho. So Lesotho is basically a country within South Africa. It's its own government. It's got its own regulations. But
your country is very interesting, bro. Your country is extremely interesting and complicated. And complicated as fuck.
Hey, very complicated. Hey, man, I don't know if you've heard about load shedding. So we've got load shedding basically for the last, I think, just probably 10 years, where we go through stages where they put out your electricity. So we've got an app. It's Eskom, something about Eskom, that tells you, listen, from 12 o'clock till 2 o'clock, you're not going to have electricity. And that's in your district or in your
rolling
area.
Blackouts like they do on the West Coast in California when they don't have enough power to go around. Yeah.
So man, I mean, already we've got problem, you know, with most of the people in South Africa. they don't have got very high wages, you know, in the sense of, I think
Right.
you guys is, I think last time I heard it was like $8 or something an hour. I think
Right.
I think we had like $2 or $3, man. If it's
Yeah,
not
it's
even
still
cheaper,
very, yeah,
honestly.
it's still pretty low. Yeah, it's still pretty low.
Yeah, so, you know, majority of the people still struggle with sanitation and water and electricity, which is such a tragedy, man, you know, because our government actually failed our people in that sense, you know, and unfortunately, you know, it's the people on the higher power, you know, we can't do anything about it. So the load shedding is definitely a big problem. That's why I also invested in a solar system in the last.
Yeah, I was going to ask you if you've gone off grid with it yet, because it seems just like if you're making money like that, seems like to set a little bit aside here and there to do something like an off grid would be really nice.
Yeah, so
how's that working out?
Yeah, so I've got a 20. At the time, I'm running 15 kilowatts, and I bought another battery now of 9. So I'll be running 24 kilowatts plus 15 panels, and then I should be totally off grid.
Yeah, for sure. And what do you think you invested in all that? How many rand do you think you spent on all that?
I think when I put the third battery in now, it'll be like $20,000 in.
20 grand. Which,
yeah.
I mean, fuck, bro. I mean, that's what? That's what? $500 a month for fucking what? Not long. I mean, really, seriously, you'll feel that really quickly. You'll see that really quickly. Yeah.
Hey, man, you know, like I've just seen it. You know, I can sleep at ease at night now.
Oh, well, that's it too. Well, there goes the internet question. That was the next question. Hang on a second. You're all right. You're all right. We'll come back to it. It'll catch up. Maybe.
Sorry, Sean. Can you give me just 2 minutes? I just want to tell him to open the gate. Someone is at the gate.
No problem, dude. Go ahead. No problem. Yeah, very interesting interview. Yeah, I mean, I think I'm having a lot of fun with this, guys. I mean, this fucking South Africa is such an interesting place. I think 905 Royal said it right. It's crazy in a little country. Yeah, I mean, it's a wild little place. And like I said, I watch Crypto Banter, which is my crypto show on YouTube that I watch I don't watch it every day right now, but I normally watch it pretty regularly. And they're in between Cape Town and Johannesburg. So so I see so many different things, so many different angles from this country when I'm watching these shows and all that stuff. So it really is a lot of fun talking to him about it. So what's up, Warful? Good to see you. I'll shout out to a couple of you guys while we're waiting on DJ to come back. Yeah, solar is the way to go. I always fantasized about going off grid with my place. I just never really took the time and the money to spend on it. You know, but it really did take the chance to go. Look at that, Ton Jones official. Sean, you have nice eyes. I love you, Ton. These eyes are for you, boo. These eyes are just for you, Ton. So my old boy Ton Jones, such an awesome guy. This guy used to be on a fucking storage hunters show on Spike TV. He was the guy with the tattooed head that was on Spike TV on the storage show. He's had a venomous. He was on Venom in Vegas. He's had a bunch of different great shows, and now he's making air rifles. Fancy ass air rifles. So, you know, what an interesting guy he is. I gotta get him on this show sometime. But yeah, man, I think solar is definitely the way to go, bro. Like it seems to be like, wow, you know, to be able to off grid your collection, man, that makes life a lot easier.
A lot easier, man.
I only have to worry about hurricanes where I am knocking out my power. I don't have to worry about much else. But I would love to be off grid. So it's something I'd love to look into in the next few years if I build my collection again.
Yeah, the thing is, I looked into, before then I had generators and stuff. But the problem is, you know, I used to kill those generators. It didn't.
Oh, yeah.
It wasn't, you know, and the one time actually we had they stole the cables at the, the power station.
Oh,
and we didn't have power for 3 weeks. And yes, man, and it was in the middle of my winter. I'm pairing snakes. You know, I think I went through. Hey, Sean, if I'm not gonna lie to you, man, I think almost $2,000 in petrol just for 3 weeks, just to run my collection. You know, and still I couldn't run my collection full time because you know, it's impossible.
It's
just,
just, it's cost prohibitive. You just can't do it. You can't do it. Man, that's some shit, man. But I mean, now you've got batteries. Now you've got some ability to store, you know. So you're running heat tape on all your racks and stuff like that?
Yeah. So, basically I've got, we work in Celsius. So I run my hotspots at 51 and then I cool down my room. So you'll see I've got air conditioners in all
I see your mini splits. Yeah, I saw a mini split.
Yeah, so I basically, my hatching room, my ambient runs around 28, 27 year round. You know, it does fluctuate a bit, maybe gets to 25 or a bit hotter, but it doesn't go off too much. And in my adults, I'm very strict with my temperatures, you know, non-breeding time. So basically, I'd say from the end of September to end of March, I run it at 28 degrees. Then the start of April, I drop it down from 28 to 26, and the start of May from 26 to 24. And I've run that until most of my females has finished ovulating. And I must say, from all of the different methods I've tried to pair with, this has been my best success ratio. You know, I don't pair, and even a lot of other breeders here locally, we don't pair with a lot of females, you know, but we've got very high percentages of females we pair up and females that lay clutches. You know, I think this past season I paired 112 or 113 females, and I think only 15 didn't win. We didn't go, you know. So I've seen, you know, with you guys.
That's really good numbers.
I see with you guys, you tend to have, you know, bigger collections, but you seem to have a bit less clutches, in my opinion. That's what I've just seen.
Yeah, I don't know what I don't know how that you know, how you quantify what the problem is there. I think a lot of it has to do with attention spans and how people do it. I don't really know.
Yeah.
I don't really know though, bro. I ultrasound though. I've been ultrasounding since 2003. So for me to go through a collection and breed outside of an ultrasound machine, I don't even know what the fuck I would do. You know, I mean, at this point. You know.
Yeah, I my first season I started to work with the ultrasound was 2017, and hey, it saves a lot of time. It
takes guesswork out. You're not wasting males. You're a sniper. I mean, you're a sniper. You know, that's your sniper rifle. That really is it. Whenever you step up to the ultrasound, so. And honestly, I still recommend it highly to people. I recommend that they budget it in. I just think it's worthwhile to do. Yes, you can do without it. You can absolutely do without it. I don't need you thumping on your chest and telling me, oh, man, I can do it without it. I don't need it. I know you don't need it. I never needed it, but goddamn, when I got one, I'm never not doing that. Like if I was like, as of my ball python collection right now, if my ultrasound were to break, I would not buy another ultrasound. But if I got into the ball python game, even slightly again, to where I thought it was going to pay for any of my life, my livelihood, my mortgage or whatever, bro, I promise you right now, I would go buy another ultrasound machine. You know, it's good that you're using it. It's definitely not needed, you know, but it's absolutely helpful and pivotal to your abilities. So,
I agree. I agree, especially if you're doing more than a certain amount of clutches. You know.
If you have 60 to 90 female ball pythons or more, you could easily use an ultrasound machine. Yes, absolutely. To where you know, just write the numbers on the front of the boxes, and then I just roll into the room and I look at the front of the boxes, and I can just do all my breeding. Yeah, it's so great.
Yeah, that's the easiest way as well, man. You know, so basically, if I do my pairings, I've got one female, and then I've got the first desired male, and then I've got two other males as a backup. You know, let's say one of the males stop pairing or whatever. At least then I can distinguish between the clutch, which is the sire of the animals. You know, and that's where my collection. I'm trying to base my collection now around is I just try and produce, you know, unique animals and also animals that's not so hard to ID, you know, because some of the animals it gets more complicated to ID.
That's another thing. Yeah,
you know, so
Ton says he's been using ultrasound since 2001. Beast Morph said he loves the ultrasound. I mean, honestly, it's funny how many ultrasound machines have been sold into the snake trade, bro. Like I bet it blows people's minds how many of us have ultrasound machines. I know my veterinarian used to be like, I still can't believe you have your own ultrasound machine for that shit. He was always blown away by that. But man, it made life so easy, so much better, and so much more profitable for sure. We highly recommend that. So
No, for sure. And I need to actually get I wanted to try and get a new ultrasound because mine is a bit outdated, but still, man, it does.
Fuck
It
that,
does
bro.
what it
I'm
needs
still
to do.
using the same piece of shit I bought in 2003. Of course, I paid $8,000 for it in 2003.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Right? Brand new. But still, the machines you're buying used off of eBay for $1,500 blow mine away and whatever. I mean, I'm still using the same one.
I paid mine. I bought mine secondhand from a guy who sold his collection down here. I think 2014 or 2015, and I think I paid $1,000 for it.
Yeah,
man.
I'm sure you paid nothing for it, right? Yeah, well, I mean,
that's
again, in 2003, bro, they weren't just floating around, right? You didn't have all these people selling them like you do now. I mean, since I bought mine, you've had like 5 different ball python guys go fully into the ultrasound business. But I remember when we bought ours as a group. We bought, I think, 5 machines, me, Barchak, and 3 other guys. When all in 3 or 4 other guys all went in together and bought a whole group of them. And I remember talking to the sales guy, and the salesman was like, "Man, I'm still blown away. You guys are buying these for fucking snakes. I can't believe you're buying these for fucking snakes." And yeah, I think it's very cool though. Very cool.
Yeah, I think it still blows people's mind that we actually breeding snakes, as a full-time business.
Oh, as a living? Yeah, absolutely. And people are like, "How long have you done that?" I'm like, "I've done this for 20 years. I've done it 20 something years. I mean, at this point, I'm not breeding nearly what I used to, but I mean, I'm not sure how far I'm going to go back down that rabbit hole, but I would I would honestly be fine with where you are. Like, I like that. So how many adults do you think you're running right now to keep your 100 clutch run? You're probably running like 150 to 200 adult females that you're selecting from?
Yeah, so I think I've got roughly 190 sub-adults and adult females, not all are breeder size.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this coming year, so starting May, I should pay around 150. If I think I would be able to pay 150. I would probably pay a bit less because some of them will be young females or a bit younger females. So I think I'll probably wait on some of them, pay them the next year. But I think this year, or the end of this year, we'll probably try and go for 120 clutches. I don't, I'm still trying. How can you say? I want my collection to grow. Not exponentially, but very slowly.
I remember saying, "Look, I have this wall of holdbacks. This wall holds 66 animals. When 66 animals are full, no more, right?" And then there's like, "Well, how many did you hold back this year?" "Oh, I held back 125. Well, what about the 66? "Yeah, but there was a few more that I just couldn't let go of." And now I'm looking at what did I messaged, I messaged Levance Wells. Levance just produced this animal that looks like an Angolan python. Did you see this ball python he hatched that looks exactly like an Angolan python? And everybody's like, "Is this a hybrid? Is this a hybrid?" And I knew it wasn't a hybrid because I know that Levance doesn't fuck with that shit. I don't think, I don't think so. So I actually reached out to him in private, and I was just like, "Bro, I just want to tell you that's a fucking insane ball python you produced.
That's crazy."
and that your holdback racks must look insane. Like, you must drive yourself nuts just trying to convince yourself to sell one thing. Because I'm looking at those snakes, and I'm like, I don't think I could sell this, bro. I don't think I could do that. And then
that's crazy, man.
Yeah, that snake was wild. That snake blew my mind, bro. Maybe want to get back into ball pythons. I'm not gonna lie.
I'm not gonna. I must be like Levance has also got an amazing collection. DG.
Oh, dude, since you were because since you were 8 years old, that motherfucker's been buying and breeding and buying and breeding and buying and breeding and saving the best and saving the best. Those type of collections, dude. Ozzy's collection, Levance's collection. Obviously Justin's collection. These things are absolutely stellar, bro. Like it's hard to it would be hard to visit that. I couldn't visit that collection. I couldn't visit it. I would be either like kill myself right here, right now. I can't own any of this shit. I didn't make any of this shit. Oh man, it blows my mind. So
it's crazy, man.
Tell me who your like original inspirations were. Like you coming up in this thing in South Africa. How was it? Obviously, you grew up in the internet age. So you have this. You're kind of spoiled, if you ask me. versus
Yeah,
my
no,
growing
for
up.
sure.
But you know, but yeah,
Sure.
who
For
were
sure.
your real like driving forces to get you where you are now?
So yes, man. You know, like I don't know if you know Austin Stevens. He was a snake catcher, or he had a TV show here in South Africa. As a youngster, you know, of course, I watched Steve Owen. But I'd say there's there's not like someone particular that really like, especially with like, let's say the ball pythons. I think
Yeah.
in general, just snakes. I'd say Austin Stevens. It's you know, I grew up watching a lot of his shows, and then of course, you know, Brian. You know, as a youngster, I used to watch a lot of Snake Bites
Snake
TV.
bites.
You know,
Yeah.
with Chewy. You know, those were the
Oh yeah,
original.
those days, the original days, the
Yeah,
old days. Most of
the
those
old
episodes
days.
are gone now. I don't even think you can watch a lot of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of
So
yeah.
yeah,
Chewy and June and all of them were there. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, so, and, you know, now, you know, I take inspiration from all of the different breeders worldwide. You know, I think we're starting to, you know, a lot of years ago, you know, even when I started off, you know, there was a lot of, I'd say more, not pettiness, but like hatefulness, especially in the industry. And I think that's changed a lot now, you know.
I think that COVID really opened the world up with
I
money
agree.
and with opportunity and with attention span. Like how many people were forced to just sit at home and be bored and learn about
No,
things that are
I agree.
outside the scope of them. I think that a lot of things worked out to be more or less the perfect storm for not just ball pythons, but all pets that aren't mainstream. I
No,
mean,
I
yeah,
agree. I think,
dogs sold like crazy and birds sold like mad, and I sold the fuck out of fish tanks during it,
yeah.
you know,
I
but
saw
there's no
even,
doubt that the ball
yeah,
python world took a large, jump there.
yeah,
So,
yeah, man. It was. I saw also in COVID, you know, especially.
mm,
I think it was in the UK. They were struggling literally to get new puppies in because they were getting
mhm.
it from all of the Europe countries, and they were literally like there were gangs or stuff stealing the dogs,
Yep.
stealing people's dogs to sell them. You know that.
Yep. Stealing
Um,
their dogs
yeah,
out of their yards to sell. Yep.
and yeah, exactly. And it was all kinds of dogs. You know, so it shows you that. Yeah, something was definitely, there was money to be made if the guys were going so extreme to you know, get the
Oh,
animals.
for sure, man. I mean, that's people in need. That's people that are like, I
Yeah,
want this. I want this and I need this and I will do anything to get this. Here, I'll pay you this much. And people are
yeah,
literally going yard to yard stealing dogs for people. Like, what kind of dog do you want? I want a German Shepherd. Okay, I'll have him for you tomorrow. You know?
and I mean, yeah, I mean, a dog becomes part of your life, man. It becomes
Oh
family.
yeah,
You
that's your
know,
child, man. You can't
exactly. So
that's a human. That's basically a human. Like we've humanized dogs, bro. Like we've
no,
so
exactly.
humanized dogs compared to something like that,
No, no, for sure. I mean, I've got a German Shepherd, and it's actually quite interesting, you know, because many years ago, I think in the 1990s, they actually crossbred the German Shepherds with the wolves here in South Africa to get the perfect police dog.
Mm.
You know, so that's changed now. Of course, it's still in some of the German Shepherds bloodlines, but yeah, it's actually quite interesting to see how they crossbred the animals to, you know, get the perfect
To get
police dog.
purpose, right? Yeah, they're making a police dog that's can beat the shit out of the Israeli police for some reason. Like I don't even know why you need to do that. Like why would you need a badder dog than a Malinois on a police force? I don't know. But if you needed to
No,
breed, you needed to breed a German Shepherd to a fucking hyena and cross it back in and make it into some insane, dog. I mean, God, dude, that like the things that people would do in countries like that, though, are very interesting. Government organizations, I mean, like the police breeding a species, breeding a dog for that purpose. And that's kind of interesting.
yeah,
So
crazy
yeah,
to think about that.
217 ball pythons says I got into ball pythons and English bulldogs during that time. It's a shame you got into English bulldogs. What made you do that? You should have spent all that money on the balls and you would have done all the way better all the way around, and you wouldn't be wiping your dog's ass or getting it artificially inseminated or getting a cesarean section later. I do love those little snorting fucking dogs, but the trouble you go in to own one, like a Frenchie or an English bulldog, like if like literally you go to somebody's house with English bulldogs and they got wipes by the door and you're like, what are those for? Those are to wipe your dog's ass because your dog can't wipe its own ass. Bro, That's it. So yeah, you sell the English Bulldogs quick 217 and buy ball pythons, because that would have been a much better investment. But I'm not gonna lie, I bought my daughter a dog during COVID and I got bent over and fucked like so hard. Like I spent so much money on this dog, and then like it's insane. Like it's nuts how it went. It really is nuts how it went. And but it looks like snakes went that way too. So you felt the same boom from it in South Africa?
Yeah, I must say there's been a rapid increase, especially like I said during COVID.
Yeah, that's what I mean during COVID.
People,
you know.
Yeah, I think people were frustrated. I mean, man, honestly, I thought the world's gonna end. You know, so
right.
you know, I didn't have much information that time, so I think a lot of guys, you know, started to research the snakes and just started to get fond of them. I mean, even just some of my friends, just by speaking to them about the snakes, they are getting very intrigued by the animals, you know. And I think once you start talking about genetics and recessives and, you know, all of this different, it's actually so much more than just the snake itself. I don't think guys realize that, you know. And the animals are great. The snakes, it's a very easy animal to keep, you know. Bearded dragons and leopard geckos, they're a bit more, like you say, you need to maintain that. You know, they need to, you know, at a time I had everything, man, you know. I think we all start off like that, just having a bunch of different species and stuff.
Oh, I still do. But, it's my poison, bro. It hurts me every day. I was telling somebody about one rack I have, and I'm like, I have a rack. I literally have a rack that at the top, it has Japanese rat snakes. Then it has black milk snakes. Then it has gopher snakes. It has pine snakes. It has... Yeah, like I sat there and I thought about it, and I was like, if I put a pair of Australian pythons in this cage, in this rack, I have every continent in the world in this one rack, right? But then you think about it and you're like, fuck that, man. Like when I was a teenager, like when I was your age, I caught the ball bug and I went into ball pythons hard. And my fiance was into boas and she went into boas hard. And I was already into corn snakes, so we had boas and balls and corn snakes hard as fuck. We had boa constrictor morphs.com, ball python morphs.com, and corn snake morphs.com, all of those. And I'll be honest with you, bro, I was making money. And then when I have all my shit, like all my 18 million different species of things, I don't make money. And that's what Tracy Barker used to say. You can either have everything and do a little, or you can have one species and smash it. Like she would be like, bro, if you have a diverse collection, you are never going to make anything of yourself, but you will have a lot of fun keeping your shit. But you have to stop and focus, right? And so now I'm trying to like push myself back because I don't have a little Tracy Barker in my ear like I did before. You know? Oh, there we go again. You get a message and it just totally trashes your phone. Like, back with me.
Yeah.
Somebody at the gate again.
Yeah, I've actually got a client coming quickly, but he's actually already here, but you can just wait a couple of minutes.
We can wrap it up here soon. Yeah, we can wrap it up here soon. Unless he wants to be on the podcast and bring him on. You know, it's fine. If he's a client, fuck, he's got snakes. You know, he's a snake guy.
Yeah. So, man. So, I think, you know, in the future, I'd definitely want to come and visit you guys again. So I'll try and make a plan. Probably next year, and maybe we can do also, you know, like a podcast together, you know, in person. I think that will be awesome as well.
Oh yeah, I'd love to do something like that. So I want to just kind of look at your Instagram real quick before we. It's getting late anyway for us here. I mean, most people are like fucking going to bed anyway, and we don't have to do this. We don't have to do a whole, you know, all nighter here. But yeah, I just wanted to kind of look at your facility and show people the kind of stuff. So, what racks are these? Are these freedom breeders?
Yeah, these are freedom breeders.
Yeah, you imported freedom breeders.
Yeah, many years ago, you know, we had a deal going on with Jesse, so they were very, you know, I'm very thankful for the racks because by far it's the best racks.
Yeah. What's that? Your incubator room right there?
Yeah,
that's closet with all your shelves in it. I love the sign, by the way, man, because that's my business now. That's what I'm doing. Signs,
really? Awesome.
That thing's dope. That plasma cut sign's awesome. Sick. Or laser cut. One of the two. Yeah, plasma or laser. But yeah, so you got freedom breeders. What are the other racks in there? Are those something you sourced down there locally, or did you import these? What are these other ones?
So those on the left are gray melamine racks. And I took Vision tubs, and I basically
Oh,
just
okay.
bought. I've got a few Vision racks here that I bought secondhand from a collection.
Yeah.
The only problem is, I don't know, they don't seem, in my opinion, to keep the heat well. You know, I ended up putting the thermostats at 36 degrees or whatever, and it was just too high for me. You know, it was too big of a risk. So
Yeah.
I ended up, you see, there's one of the Vision racks.
Yeah, Visions.
Yeah. So I ended up just building the racks out with tubs. So mainly I use melamine racks for my hatchlings. You can see them also behind here.
Right.
And then for the adults, I use freedom breeder racks, and then we've got a new rack that's, I think it's imported from China, which is also works well. It's very similar to your FP40 tubs, very similar in size.
I've been looking at those Chinese racks actually, bro. I've been eyeing them up because I go on Chinese sites to look at my machining stuff pretty regularly, and I've been looking at some of these rack companies, you know, and
no. They work well. I prefer the darker tubs. So once they've got the darker tubs, I'll switch them out to, to the gray tubs. But further than that, man, I can't complain about the racks. They're still working well. The thing is, I'd love to import freedom breeder racks again, but it's not the price of the rack itself. It's the shipping cost. I mean, you spend like $5,000 in dollars just to get the racks here. Just the shipping cost. It's too crazy, eh?
It's a pretty sexy pair of snakes you got right here to their head for puzzle, bro. That's dope.
Yeah, Sean. Yeah, so I've got. I know you're the founder of the puzzle. I remember there was one
Pretty
video.
much.
I think it was one expo where you were explaining. I don't know if it was on your YouTube channel or on someone else's YouTube channel, where you were just showcasing some of the first puzzle animals. I think that was 2014.
Yeah, bro. That was actually that was my buddy Stephen Kelly's video on YouTube when I was standing up, right? I was walking still. I wasn't in a wheelchair. I don't think in that video. I think I'm standing up there and I'm showing him the video of the stuff in there. Yeah, I'm not in the chair yet. Yep.
I think so.
Well, man. Fucking snakes, bro. This thing is stupid looking right here.
Hey, yeah, Sean, and I've got some awesome animals, man, that I'm gonna reveal soon. So for anyone,
you got some dope shit, bro. Like you have some insane looking ball pythons for being a world away. You have a great collection, DJ, and I am so happy that you were telling me that it got you through some sticky spots in life and your family, bro. That's like amazing. That's a fucking amazing thing. Like to have your family believe in you, invest in you, and then have you go turn around and be able to pull them out of the dirt or to basically feed the family. Bro, that's fucking intense, dude. Like I wish my grandparents would have seen me make that into something, because my grandparents were old school, right? Whenever I told them I was spending the kind of money I was spending on snakes, my grandpa looked at me like, I remember telling him I bought a pinstripe for $25,000 for a snake, and he just looked at me, and you could tell he just didn't understand, bro. Like he didn't get it. Like he bought, like I remember him telling me he bought a gas station for $25,000 in like 1945. He bought a fucking gas station for that, and I was like, that's dope.
Crazy,
I was like, cool. I bought a snake for that, Gramps. And he was just like, whatever, kid. I don't know that that'll ever do it. I hope it works out for you, kid. And he passed away. It was working out for us by the time he passed away. But I mean, he didn't really it never sunk in, bro. Like they were from such a different world, right? He grew up in the American Depression, right? So when I told him I made $500,000 breeding snakes when I was 25, he just couldn't fathom it, bro. He was like, I'm very proud of you. And like, that was it. Like, but he never got to see us make it like everywhere. Like we were even in books and magazines and like people were talking to us and stuff. I have been geeking out on your ball pythons for the last couple of days that I've been waiting for this interview. And I got to be honest, bro, you are definitely ahead of the game anywhere you go. I don't care if you're here, if you're there. You have a fucking fire collection, and I'm not the only one that thinks it. So, you got a lot of people out there. I'm sure you get a lot of that. I'm sure you get a lot of compliments, bro. But I'm not going to lie. You guys all need to go to Instagram.com. It's reptiles _4 centuries _Instagram. So apparently he's got several, other people that have probably taken the name Reptile for centuries before you could get to it. But god damn, dude, if you thought there was nothing you could do with a pinstripe, this is something you can do with a motherfucking pinstripe That's
the
insane. Like, I'm gonna pull this shit up on the goddamn. Like confuse
That's
the
great,
shit out
yeah.
of a pinstripe. Like, this is the kind of stuff I want to see. You know, you guys are just taking like every little bit of what I thought was the end of ball pythons and changing it again. And so, like, I go through these Instagrams and through some of these posts, and I look and I'm like, what in the actual fuck? You know, I hope to see Puzzle do a lot of rad shit for you, because I know you got a lot of clown stuff going, and I hope you get a lot of rad puzzle stuff going, and that you're hatching stuff down there in South Africa that nobody here is hatching. That would be
I've got a
phenomenal.
few puzzle projects. So unfortunately, my first animals had spider in, but that's
that's all right. It's all good. It's not illegal there yet, is it?
No, but honestly, man, it's I don't have a problem with spider animals. They're just too dominating.
They are. They dominate the pattern and stuff like that. Just kind of runs you over. I agree.
I mean, I produced a GHI bumblebee puzzle now. It's an awesome animal, but you can't see much of the patterning,
Right.
But yeah, I've got a few puzzle projects this year. Hopefully some GHI, fire red stripe puzzle stuff. My main male for this coming year would be a fire red stripe puzzle.
This motherfucker right here. I've been watching. Look at this snake. I love this snake. I think this snake is phenomenal. I bet this thing looked amazing coming out of the egg and shedding through its first few sheds.
And it's actually, that animal is actually available in the USA. Right?
It is. It is. I'm on your MorphMarket page right now. 120,000 Rand. Don't worry, guys. It's not 120 grand. It's much, much, much less than that. It's not a whole lot less than that, though, but it's much less than that.
I think it's around $8K in dollars, eh?
Right.
Sean, I actually want to show you guys. I don't know if it's going to be able to pick up on the podcast. I want to show you guys one animal.
Yes, show us something. Throw it up in front of your cell camera or whatever. Maybe be able to reverse your camera.
We can't do one. We can't talk about snakes and not show a snake.
Yeah, we don't show too many snakes on my podcast. We should do more. We show a lot of internet snakes. We don't show a lot of live snakes. You can you're using your phone right now, right?
Yeah.
Can you reverse the camera? Can you turn the camera around on the phone, or StreamYard won't let you do that? I don't know if it'll let you reverse your camera. Then you do it like that. So what are we looking at? Get it closer. Get it a little closer to the camera.
So
Axanthic something?
Yeah, so it's a hypo black axanthic desert ghost.
BADG, huh? So it's a VPI black axanthic desert ghost?
Yeah, so it's a black axanthic. I don't know which line. I think it's just classified as black axanthic.
Yeah, black axanthic's probably VPI stuff. So yeah.
Yeah, so man, I produced this animal from. So it's definitely hypo because I produced it from hypo to hypo.
Yeah.
So it was hypo, spot nose, double head, DG black axanthic to a hypo double head. So yeah, I'm very, very excited about that animal because I've got a axanthic DG male VPI line, and it looks similar as a hatchling, but this animal's got a very blue head. This hypo black axanthic DG. So I think if it transitions into an adult snake, it's going to be almost like a blue and white snake.
Yeah, I think that'd be kind of neat to pull that blue color from that. Yeah, I think you could from a hypo black axanthic desert ghost in there. Yeah. So looks like you got a lot of genes to have a lot of fun. I mean, going on your so guys, go to morphmarket.com if you want to check it out. Be sure you click the stores link when you drop your seller menu. You go look him up. Of course, the link to his page is directly in this. Just look below. Stores in South Africa. Actually, let's go look at something right quick, brother. All pythons in South Africa.
Yeah,
there are 911 ball pythons for sale, 905 ads, and 290 traits for sale in South Africa. So let's see. Any puzzles for sale? 0 visual puzzles for sale, bro. You're going to be making some money soon. Look.
Yeah, I had one up for sale and I sold it. Actually, it's going to Hong Kong. So it's a firefly leopard puzzle. Awesome male. Which I just hatched out more females. But I see with puzzle, I don't know if you also saw it, but in some cases you can easily pick up the poss heads or the heads. So I'm actually.
Here's what I'm worried about, bro. I'm worried about that. Sometimes you can easily pick it up and sometimes you can't. You know what I think that is? I think that might be cryptic in there.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Look out. Just look. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. So I've had to examine all, so from Puzzle came Cryptic. Also from Desert Ghost came Cryptic, right? But Puzzle was definitely had Cryptic in it when it was in my collection before it ever hit the Desert Ghost stuff. It definitely had it because I had it in my hypo stock. I had hypo puzzles that were really clean, and I had hypo puzzles that were really busy. And that was the difference, would be having the gene or not having the gene. And then there was the daddy gene, which Ozzy calls the weirdo, right? Ozzy calls the weirdo gene, which I believe is daddy, which I think someone just sent me a picture, a post that they bred it to a lesser with the weirdo, and they did produce daddy platies. So it is the daddy gene. More than likely weirdo is daddy. Now, I'm worried that I'm not worried, but I think that what I've been spotting all along in Puzzle as a visual het would maybe be cryptic related. But maybe that's that. Beast Morph said, what did Puzzle come from? Puzzle came from a super pastel that I bought from Greg Graziani, bred to a normal from Africa. Then the pastel babies were bred back together again. The pastel babies were bred back together again. And the customer of mine, not me, my customer, Mike Faircloth, bred them together and produced the very first puzzles, at which point he kept everything that I asked him to keep. We sold some the following year in 2009. And then in the turn of 2009 and 2010, something very unfortunate happened where Mike lived. They outlawed all exotic pets. And so, yeah, he had to sell his collection. And he called me and he said, first of all, you named it. Second of all, you helped me sell it. And you've done so much work on putting it out there into the world. I would really like you to buy it. And he said, and honestly, of all the people that I know, you have the resources to buy this stuff from me. Now, he did give me a price, and it was a good bit more than what I sold him the animals for, but it was a steal for what it was. And I'm still very thankful that he allowed me to do that. And I try not to claim the project. You know, I did name it and I did produce, like, put it out in the world. But DJ, I try not to claim it as being like absolute ground zero, because it was kind of a combination of both. But yeah. So let me just shout out your stuff here, and then I'll let you get on with your client and keep your client waiting, and let my people go to bed because some of them are tired.
Cool, man. Yeah, and, but I'm willing to go on to the whenever you want to do a show again, man. It will be an honor to do it again. So just let me know.
Yeah, this was good, bro. This was good. This is fun. This is light. This is good talk. This is good, interesting things that we can talk about from your country. That's so different and so unique. So unique compared to what we're used to here, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, everybody that's out there listening to this, get over to MorphMarket.com, go on South Africa's section, look this guy up, RFC Reptiles for centuries in Pretoria, and check out some of these incredible ball pythons he's got. Absolutely intense listing of snakes he has here. Even some nice big female pieds, you know, bunch of stuff he's got going on over in South Africa at his spot. All right, DJ. Well, you did great, bro. You're doing great. I'm so proud, bro. You have no idea how proud I am to interview. You might be the youngest person I've interviewed on Ballsh so far. You're 21 years old. You said you've been listening to Ballsh for a while. When did you start listening to this first?
Yes, man.
The audio shit?
The audio on, what do you call it? It's not Spotify.
Yeah, Apple or whatever the hell, iTunes or whatever, yeah.
Yeah, but way back, man. I think 2015.
2015 when I started it. Okay, so you were listening on the spot then. Bro, I can't tell you how much I'm glad you're still here. I'm super fucking proud that you're here. It's awesome. It's awesome. No, so thanks a lot. I appreciate it, dude.
I really do appreciate it, man. And you know, like I said, would like to come up again, and you know.
Oh, for sure, we'll definitely have you back on, definitely. And the time doesn't matter so much. I mean, we could do the time like this again. I like doing this show late. I would actually do it like this every week if I had more people in it. I would love to sit at home and just relax and not have to go, because normally my facility is like 25 minutes away from here. So normally I'm podcasting into the middle of the night and then driving home all those miles, and I just rather not. So everybody seem to enjoy this. Serpentine says nice show. Sean, thanks for the time, DJ. Steve Richards says I have to find the right snake for my collection from you, and we will be in touch. Maybe you'll get some business from this. Who knows? And honestly, bro, hang tight for me just a minute on the sidelines. You can go ahead and chat with your customer if you want to. Let me pull you out of this for just a minute.
It might just go off, but yeah, thanks. I appreciate your time, man.
Sure enough, bro. If I lose you, I lose you. It's only gonna take me a minute. All right. Cool, thanks, man. DJ. Take care.
Okay.
All right, everybody. Well, there's DJ. He had a great little show here today. Definitely was cool that he could wake up in the morning and just jump right over to us and all that. So thank you very much. Today it is her birthday. In 30 minutes she turns 10. Well, not in 30 minutes, and she was born in the afternoon, so fucking 14 hours she turns 10, but she's pretty convinced that she's turning 10 now. So that's that. I did finish the cake. I showed it on Facebook. My 10-year cake challenge is complete. PCF Funny Royals, thank you so much for coming in the show tonight. I absolutely adore you all. It's been a rough week. I'm happy to be back. I hope that I see you all on Tuesday. On Tuesday, we have the show for isopod.com. Ben Quintana has been a friend of mine for very many years. He's also an importer of isopods. He's traveled all over the world to catch these interesting little roly-polies. He's got some of the absolute most fabulous bugs you could ever imagine over there at his place. And I really hope that throughout this whole recording, my 3D printer back there isn't annoying the shit out of those of you with headphones on with the I'm printing some last minute party favors for my daughter for her party. And that's that. Ton Jones, I agree. We do need to catch up soon, brother. I would love to have you on an off-topic Tuesday episode of the Ballsh podcast to talk about air rifles and venomous snakes and storage hunter shows and all of the other amazing things that you've done with your life, dude. I'm so fucking thrilled that I know you and that we've spent time together and that we have a bond. I would love to have you on. I think you absolutely are an amazing person, and I think everyone would love to hear more about your life. I think we should definitely do that. I'll get with you. Maybe late February, early March, we can cut a Tuesday show. Thank you a lot, Ton. Appreciate you very much. Steven, I appreciate you too, Steven Richardson. You're kind of a new name here. I like seeing your name. I like seeing your comments. Please come back. I haven't seen you here very much. So great show, Sean. Happy birthday to your daughter. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. And look, I wish I had that picture, Ton. Where's that picture of you guys, bro? I got to find it. It's somewhere here on my wonderful photo roll on Facebook. Maybe my mobile uploads. I don't even know. I've got so many pictures on here, bro, from Daytona, from how many years ago was that, dude? I mean, how many? Fucking 9? No, not that. She wasn't just 1, was she? She was older than that. Let me see if I can find it while we're all just chit-chatting and stuff like that. But yeah, I have a photo of my daughter with Ton. And, go ahead and, geez, way back here, right? Way fucking back here. Look at this picture. Jesus Christ. Look at this facial expression of my kid. I should print this out for her 16th birthday. That should be it right there, right? That fucking photo right there should be the photo that I put on her invitation for her 16th birthday party. Oh, bro, that would fucking kill it. Oh, man, she'd be dead. She would be so fucking mad about that. I gotta be close, right, Ton, man? Come on. Where the hell are you? You guys together were so cute. It was when you were all huge and when Bo was all, oh, there it is. I found it. I fucking found it. Here it is. Look at this picture, dude. Look at this fucking picture, bro. Who doesn't love this photo of Big Ton and Big Bo? There it is, bro. There it fucking is right there. That's the shot. That's the money shot right there, Ton. The money shot. Yeah, she was tiny, bro. She was fucking itty bitty bitty. It's fucking hands as big as my kid. Oh, you gotta love that shit. Yes, indeed. Absolutely. I'm gonna leave this picture on my screen and I'm gonna call her it. Hang on a minute. Let me call her and let me see. I just shouted for her. I don't know. But yeah, that was fucking great, right? I mean, that was such amazing. I don't know. They're both very photogenic. I think they are the most photogenic in the world. Like, I fucking love this photo ton. So let's have you on the show here real soon, bro. All right. Thank you all. I hope you have a good night. I'm going to spend the rest of the weekend with my little girl. I'm doing family shit. Sorry about the little in the background. This is my little lab. You see it spinning over here behind my shoulder over on this side. It's this machine on this side running right here. Yeah, so. All right, guys. Well, y'all have a good night. It's been really fun. This was interesting, and I'm glad I had DJ Van Wyk from South Africa and Reptiles for fucking centuries on Ballsh for fucking centuries. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Good night. Yeah, this was a good one.